All right, hello everyone. So what we're going to start doing is now coloring the PSD file for um, for the hammer. So a lot of what I'm going to do, I'm going to use some borrowed photos from um, licensed, free licensed material. Um, It used to be back in the day, there were a lot more sites. I think now a lot of sites are requesting for subscription and things like that. So, but there's still a few out there. Pixabay being one. If you want to check out archives.org. But then also for this example, I'm using some images from texturelabs.org. So what's nice is they allow you to download without having to create an account. So a little happy discovery there. So with that, what we're going to do, I'm also going to sample some of the coloring from the reference images. And what you can also do for your object is take photos or closer zoomed in detailed photos of your object to get samples for your texturing. But with that, I'm going to open up the UV file that I had made in the last video. So you would go to File, Open, and then you would look for the document that you want to open, which is the Hammer UV. Okay, so you'll have this. Go ahead and name the layer, UV layer. You're going to lock it, and then you're going to add a new layer with the plus sign or Control L. You're going to double click, name this background, and with the fill tool or the bucket tool, it might be hidden. You might have the 3D material drops or the gradient tool open. What you'll do is click on the small little arrow pointing down to the bottom right and click on bucket tool. And what you'll do with the foreground tool, the foreground swatch selected, you'll make it white, click OK, and then click in a blank area of your background. Go ahead and lock this layer. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a new layer. And I'm going to go ahead and add the swatches that I'm going to use. So I downloaded, let me pause the recording for 1 second. Okay, so I have these images here. Okay, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to drag them in. If it will let me. There we go. I'll hit enter and I'll add this one in as well and I'll hit enter. Okay, so what I'm going to use, I'm going to decrease the saturation. What I'm going to use this fabric material, this leather photograph, to help with getting the bottom portion of the handle. And then I'm going to sample the orange swatch from the photo. So I'm going to hide this for 1 second. I'm also going to add this in here as well. All right. So in this example, I'm going to swatch this orange and I'm going to create a new layer. Make this orange handle. And I'm going to click on the brush tool and in this instance, I'm going to make it a hard brush. Let's go to general brushes. I'm going to use a hard brush so that way I can get a solid line at the start. And then I'm going to soften and add some dirt into where it would turn black. All right, I'm going to increase my brush size here. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead deselect here and zoom in, Command plus. I'm going to go up to this line right here. And to get a cleaner selection, I'm just going to do a marquee selection here up to that line. And I'm going to press uh, the bucket tool and click. And I'll go back and I'll click again one more time. Go back to the bucket tool and I'll press Command D to deselect my selection area. And then I'll go ahead and now brush this area. Again, you got to go outside the wireframe. And I'll go up to here as well. Make sure not to go into the little middle portion of the hammer. Alright. And then I'm going to add some grime up here at the top. I'll add some dirt here because again it's a lot going on here. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'll go to my brush settings here. So I'll go to Windows, brush settings, and now I'll go to a soft brush, or let's see, I'm gonna change some settings to this brush and um, find a attributes that will help give this effect I'm trying to go for. I'm going to go to scattering here and increase the scatter. Not so much. There we go. And go to textures. Lies, no, turn that off. I'm going to go to dual brush. Yeah, there we go. I'm going to switch to that wash. Let's see. Yeah. So what this will do, it's taking two settings or two silhouettes of brushes and combining them. So one will be the pattern being made and the other will be the actual stroke itself. Which I do like here. Let me just see this one. Ooh. Well, that'll be made for rust. Alright. And I think that's good. And I can always just test it, see how this looks. Switch out the color. Maybe I'll go swatch the darker, more grimier color there and go back to B. See how this looks. Okay. And I'm obviously going to lower the opacity here and build this up. And I kind of want to start wherever I start at one side, I need to end on the other. Just about to help with the belief that this is one seamless section. Okay, I'm going to go up here. Go ahead and I'll darken my swatch. And I'll also lower my brush size. So we're going to go a little darker. We're going to increase the opacity a little bit more and decrease the size of my brush. And we can increase this a little bit more. And I'm lightly tapping here. And I'll go with a soft brush later just to soften some of these areas a little bit more. Ooh, I should undo that. I don't like that stroke. There we go. And then I'll do like a faint might grab, let's see, let's look at that brush. I'm going to increase this a little bit more and no, a little bit bigger. No, that's not the size I want. Oh, like that. And let me increase this brush size. Okay. Going to decrease the opacity and then lighten the color again. Just do an overall stroke here. Just so it's not one flat color. You don't want that. And then I'm going to turn off my dual brush and turn off the scattering. I'm just going to go to a round brush here, a soft round brush. And I'm going to lower the size here. I'm just going to do a general, nope, that's too, oh, the opacity is like at 100. Lower the opacity. Oh my. Just to smooth this out. Same thing here. Almost like blurring a little bit. There we go. Okay. And what I like to do, I know this might be a little tedious. I like working on a small section, doing a small test export, and seeing how it looks on the object. So, just to kind of show you what I mean by that, I'm going to turn off all these things that I'm not using, and I'm going to turn off the UV layer. I'm going to do a little export file, uh, export as a quick PNG. This will be hammer color. And I will save this into my desktop and into the tutorial for source images folder. I'll hit save. I'll minimize here. Did it save? I think it did. Let's double check. Desktop. Animation. Tutorial 4. Okay, it did. Okay, so I'm going to minimize this, and I'm going to minimize this, and I'm going to go back to Maya, and I'm going to go to object mode. I'm going to go to my general workspace now that I'm done editing my UVs. I'm going to assign a new material because by default any object that we add has a Lambert 1 shader. That's the default shader, and we don't want to adjust Lambert 1. So if I click on this object, you'll notice if I go to the attribute editor, oh, let's delete our history here, edit, delete by type, history, smooth shade, assign existing material, Lambert 1. There we go. Okay. Sorry, it just went to like wireframe for some reason. So I have Lambert 1, that's that default gray that we see here, but we don't want to adjust Lambert 1. So we're going to give this a new material. In this example, I'm going to assign to a blend so that way there's some specularity. So I'm going to hold down my right mouse button with this object selected in object mode, and I'm going to scroll down to assign new material. I'm going to go to blend, and I'm going to go to the attribute for color, and I'm going to add a node. And in this case, it's going to be a file. So I'm going to click on the checkerboard icon here next to color, and I'm going to go to file. Once I do that, this tab will pop up. I'm going to click on the folder icon. It should take me to tutorial 4 because I've set my project correctly. And when I hit open, nothing's going to happen just yet. Fear not. I'm going to click on texture preview right here at the top. You'll see a little checkerboard sphere, or if you press 6, this will show you how it's looking. So there's a lot of specularity, and we'll play around with the specular map for this if you want to like get a little better idea. You can lower the specularity and the specular color just for right now. All right. Also remember this is a quick PNG. I mean, I can do a better PNG too. If I go to File, Export As, I do PNG. You can even do a JPEG too and just make it a really high quality JPEG. I'll hit Export. Make this hammer color 2 and test. And save this in the correct source images tab. Here, save, export. I can go back and click on this. So to get back into the file, I'll click on this little icon here with the play sign and into the box. So I'm going into this component, and I'll click on the folder icon again, and excuse the dog barking. Yeah. The other option too, we can increase the image size as well for when you do a UV snapshot. So you can, instead of doing a 2048, you can do um, 40 4096 file size too. Um, so yeah, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to minimize this and go back to Photoshop. And what I'll do here, I'll open this up and open up my wireframes here. And what I might do is just do a little cutout here. So what I mean by that, I'll use the lasso tool, select this texture image, and I'm going to go around this part of the wireframe. And I'm going to click Command Shift I, or if you're on a PC, Control Shift I. And I'm going to press Command X. Lies, I have to rasterize this image. Layer. Rasterize smart object. It's a smart object now, so it won't allow me to treat it as a bitmap image. So with that layer selected, I'll go to Layer, Rasterize, and then Smart Object. And now if I hit Command X or Control X on a PC, I should be able to cut out that section. I'll paste it though, Command Shift V or Control Shift V, and I'll do the same thing here. For this layer, Command Shift I, Command X, and do the same thing here. I'll paste it in place, so Command Shift V or Control Shift V on the PC. And I'm going to cut out this little area here where my cursor is. This is just a quick way. I'm going to adjust the coloring of it. Same thing, Command Shift I, Command X. Okay. I'm going to lower the saturation of these and lower the contrast a little bit more for these areas. So by holding down Command and clicking on the thumbnail of the layer, so Command click on the layer, and then now to add to the selection, Command Shift, and then click on the layer thumbnail, and then the next one, so these three. I'm going to make an adjustment layer. I'm going to go to Layer, um, new adjustment layer, and I'm going to go to contrast. Click OK. Lower the contrast here. And I'm going to lower the brightness. Here we go. And I'll make this handle. Let me see, this is the whole. Always rename your layers. Handle bottom. Handle. Actually, black handle. I mean, I know I can see it through the thumbnail, but just as a reminder. I'm going to select these and I'm going to click on the folder icon down here to group them. Black. And I'm going to go back to the orange and I'm going to erase some of this that's going on here. So I'll click on the eraser tool, just right here. And I'm going to increase my brush and make it hard. Actually, let's do a soft brush. Increase the size. And let's do, let's go to brown. I'm going to decrease my brush here and make it almost really dark here. And make the brush smaller. I'm going to go even darker and increase my opacity. Okay. Let's go. Let's go. The opacity is a little too high. Okay. I might increase the contrast a little bit for this layer, so I'll press Command click on the thumbnail just to get a little bit more of what I'm trying to go for here. Increase the contrast. Okay. And here, so it's a little bit more noticeable on. Okay. So then I'm going to turn off the UV layer and run this again. And I'm going to export it as the name, as the same name file. Export as. Click export. And I'll select it just to give the name. It's going to override, replace. And then I'll go back to Maya. And all I need to do is click reload. Reload. Do a quick render just to see how this is looking. Okay. Just want to see how it's looking. Alright. Oh, I missed a spot. So, like I said, always go outside the lines um, just so you don't get these white spots like this. Okay. And then port 2.0. Alright, I'm going to pause the recording for 1 second. Alright, so part of it too, my RAM is running out of space, so it's not going to give the best quality. Uh, so I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to stop it for here, and make this as the part one of coloring your object. Um, but I'll continue this on and kind of do a test render without the screen recording going on, because it's also taking a lot with rendering that plus screen recording this tutorial. So just be aware of that. And plus, my Mac is from 2013, so give it some grace, I ask of thee. So with that, I'm going to stop it. We'll see you all on Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday. And yep, stay safe and take care.